What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we got some depth chart news and the latest on some position battles, who will be starting against Fresno State and which position battles are still being determined, plus a couple of players who have stepped up, as well as some injury news on a couple of banged up guys, especially on the defensive line. We also give a big update on the 5-star offensive tackle Andrew Babalola. Could he be deciding soon? And we also talk about some takeaways from the Netflix documentary Sign Stealer, as Connor Stalions shares his side of the story. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so I first wanted to start by talking about the depth chart ahead of the Fresno State game and also some injury news. But to start out, obviously we talked about the quarterback battle yesterday. It is a two-man race right now between Alex Orji and Davis Warren. Coach Sharon Moore did have his weekly press conference, and he said that the Wolverines will use a couple of practices this week to decide whether Orji or Warren will be quarterback one against Fresno State. He said, if it takes Wednesday, I'll take Wednesday and probably tell the guy on Thursday, and then whether we report that, say it out loud on Friday or day of the game, we'll make that decision as we go and as they feel comfortable too. So most likely we probably won't be officially hearing who quarterback one will be against Fresno State until Friday, or most likely I think the day of game day. So I think Sharon Moore will probably do what Jim Harbaugh used to do, not announce it until kickoff. And then Sharon Moore did talk about Jaden Davis, the freshman quarterback. He said the guy that's probably stepping up even more is Jaden Davis. It's been awesome to watch his progression because nothing really bothers him. You can see why he's won 2 state championships and nothing really bothers the kid. So that's some encouraging news for Michigan's future star quarterback out of Jaden Davis. Now, we talked about the offensive line position battles yesterday. On the offensive line, obviously Michigan at left tackle has Miles Hitton, and then beside him is Josh Preby. At right guard will be Gio El-Hadi. Then at center, the battle is down to Greg Crippen and Dominic Giudice, Sharon Moore said, and obviously Raheem Anderson also in the mix as well. And we also talked about at right tackle, Evan Link, the sophomore, has come on the rise and is competing with Andrew Gentry there. And Sharon Moore said that battle probably gets submitted here today or in the next 2 days. He said that yesterday. He also talked about Jayshawn Barham, obviously has gotten a lot of praise this offseason, and he said that he is a physical specimen in all types of ways. Max Bredesen has said that's the hardest hit I've taken, and he said that that dude is like a wall. As far as Ernest Hausman, Wink Martindale did confirm that he will have the helmet communication for the defense this season, as he'll be running the defenses in the mic. That duo right there, Ernest Hausman, Jayshawn Barham, going to be one of the best linebacker duo in all of college football. Cannot wait to see them. And also, as far as the backups, Jimmy Rolder has impressed, and Jaden Hood should be the number 4 linebacker. Freshman Cole Sullivan, wouldn't be surprised if he's in the mix there, coming off as potentially a 3rd stringer. Jimmy Rolder, he does need to stay healthy though, as he has had some fall camp injuries. It's just been some minor things though. As far as the defensive line, Rashawn Benny, who is returning from a broken ankle, he is good enough to play, even though he's probably not at 100%. That's what Wink Martindale said. So having him will be huge for Michigan. And then also some more injury news. Mason Graham has also been banged up in training camp, and Martindale said that they're going to talk to Graham on Tuesday evening and we'll get an update. Doesn't sound like it's, anything serious, just has been banged up, and obviously really need to get him back to full health as quickly as possible. Just have him ready for the Texas game. And Kenneth Grant has really improved his conditioning. Another guy who's been banged up is Trey Pierce, but Martindale did say he will surprise people when healthy. Michigan also has Enau Etta and Ike Iwana coming off the bench for defensive tackle rotation. Some more good news. We have talked about TJ Guy having a very good fall camp, and Sharon Moore continued that, as he said that he is playing at the same level as the 2 starters, Josiah Stewart and Derek Moore. So that is absolutely great news there. Gonna need some players to step up at edge. And then Jair Hill has earned the starting cornerback spot opposite Will Johnson, which we all kind of expected. And at safety, Sharon Moore named Makari Page and probably Quentin Johnson. Also, Zeke Berry will start at nickel per Wink Martindale. Real quick here at wide receiver, Tyler Morris, Samaj Morgan have obviously established themselves as Michigan's top 2 receiver. As far as the wide receiver 3 spot though, Sharon Morris said that there's going to be a competition as we continue through this camp, but guys like Kendrick Bell, guys like CJ Charleston, Amorion Walker, Frederick Moore, it's going to be all those guys that continue to compete as we go through the season, and we'll see who is going to really take that and solidify it. But right now we feel like we've got great options at all of them. And then I do want to talk about some takeaways from the Netflix documentary Untold Sign Stealer. But before we do have some pretty big news on Andrew Babalola, the 2025 5-star offensive tackle, as it is a battle between Auburn, Michigan, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Stanford. And according to Tom Loy of 24/7 Sports, he listed the teams, ranked them from least likely to most likely regarding Babalola's eventual landing spot. At number 5, he put Oklahoma. At number 4, he put Stanford. At number 3, he put Missouri. Number 2, Auburn. And number 1, Michigan. His reasoning for that, he said that depending on whom you talk to, the Wolverines are the common denominator here. If you talk to people at Stanford, they believe it's them or Michigan. If you talk to people at Auburn, they think it's them or Michigan, and so on. So this could be turning into an Auburn versus Michigan battle now, as it was believed for a long time a Stanford-Michigan battle, but he did say a decision is expected at some point this week if multiple sources are correct. We'll see if that is correct. His timeline has been kind of undetermined, so we just have to wait and see on that. But Michigan's still battling for the 5-star offensive tackle. But now I wanted to talk about the Netflix documentary Sign Stealer, as obviously Connor Stalions sharing his side of the story. Got quite a bit to break down. Gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. Now at the very end of the episode, Stalions did say that I'd argue I don't break the rules, I just walk a very fine line in the gray. I exploit the rules. I don't break the rules, I exploit them. Which, if we go back to when all this broke out, you know, one of the main things in question was whether or not Connor Stalions did break the rule of obtaining signals through in-person scouting, as the documentary shows an interview between Stalions and the NCAA that occurred in April. Stalions claimed he did not obtain signals through in-person scouting, as obviously decoding signals is allowed, but advanced in-person scouting is not. Now, the NCAA asked him whether or not he purchased tickets for someone to attend a college football game in which Michigan was not playing. Stalions said, I've purchased tickets to many games. I'd either resell them, or if a friend asked for a ticket, then I'd transfer it to him or her. NCAA asked him if those people filmed or recorded the opponent's signal callers. Stalions said, to my understanding, there are some people who attended games using tickets that I purchased and recorded parts of those games. Now, it also goes over, you know, how he got into coaching. He started out with the U.S. Naval Academy, and in 2018, he attended a coaching clinic where he approached Michigan about deciphering opponent signals, which, again, is legal, and he had that same role he'd held at Navy, and Michigan obviously accepted, and Stalions did that role like his life depended on it. He said, Stalions later said that, you know, I've never advanced scouted. He instead says he got signals by watching TV copies of games and by networking with other intelligence staff across the sport, which would be illegal. Stalions also argued that what set me apart was the way in which I organized that information and processed it on game day. So here's the thing, because obviously rival fans are going to say, you know, there was a connection to Harbaugh. However, Harbaugh, again, there is nothing evident that he knew what Connor Stalions was doing, how he was getting these signals. All anybody knew, Jim Harbaugh knew, is that he was good at stealing and deciphering signs. Now, Bob Wojnowski said it best. He said, no major revelations in Connor Stalions' Netflix documentary. He was hired and praised because he was good at deciphering signals, which is legal. How he got the signs and who knew are still the questions, which Stalions is obviously arguing that he didn't break the rules, he just walked a very fine line in the gray and said he didn't break them, but he instead exploited the rules. Now, Stalions also said that he recorded himself doing every possible signal I could ever imagine and created a database of those signals, which he would then match to opponent play calls. And he said that I would say that is the number one reason why I became as good as I did at deciphering signals. Now, the episode does close with a note that the NCAA is seeking a 3-year coaching ban for Stalions that he intends to challenge through the full infractions process. So pretty interesting stuff. But as far as the NCAA investigation goes, I mean, the NCAA hasn't found anybody a part of Michigan connected to Stalions' operation. And if they can't really find that, as far as the punishments go, as far as the hammer goes, that rival fans like to say, that hammer probably never gonna come. And all the NCAA is really going after Michigan for right now, according to the notice of allegations draft that was leaked to ESPN. They're going after Michigan for not cooperating with them. But let me know if you guys have any questions about all that stuff. But that's everything I wanted to say about that. Other than that, 4 days away until kickoff against Fresno State this Saturday. And other than that, that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. Other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.